Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Welcome everyone to today's class. We're reading from Sri Caitanya Caritamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Translations and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We are continuing from Adi-lila, chapter 9, text 42. This chapter is called The Desire Tree of Devotional Service. Okay. Etavad janma sapalyam dehinam iha dehishu prana artha diyavacha shreya acharanam sada. So this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna himself in his most merciful appearance speaking. And who's he speaking to? He's speaking to
talking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Lord Chaitanya is talking about who's he talking to?
Not Chaitanya is talking?
Yeah.
Oh, I am the gardener. Okay.
Yeah.
He is talking to
mercy, shelter, glories. Lord Chaitanya thought. Okay, this is just Lord Chaitanya thinking. It's Lord Chaitanya's thinking. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead. So he's definitely talking to someone. Sorry, I'm on a mission now.
31. Look at the 31.
Lord Chaitanya, oh, okay. So it says in 31, good. Lord Chaitanya thus addressed the multifarious varieties of branches and sub-branches of the tree of devotional service. So all the branches, so this chapter is called the Desire Tree of Devotional Service. See, that's very satisfying. I know. We just heard of all the different branches, right? Nityananda, Advaita Acharya, Paramananda Puri, Madhavendra Puri, all those nine sannyasis that were listed, Keshava Bharati, and Brahmananda Puri, so forth. So these are all powerful branches of the Chaitanya tree, which is spreading the fruits of love of God all over the world. And so Lord Chaitanya is talking to those branches and sub-branches of the tree. He's talking, anybody who is willing to spread the fruits of love of God, basically. So in Prabhupada, we heard in one purport that Prabhupada said that ISKCON is also a branch of the Chaitanya tree. So he's talking to all the members of ISKCON, all Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And he's saying that we have these amazing fruits of love of God. But he said, I want to distribute them, but if I'm the only gardener, then how many places can I go? How many fruits can I pick? How many fruits can I distribute? I need help. Because if it's just up to me, then, I'm sure that I'll miss some people. So then he's instructing. He's saying, distribute this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Let people eat these fruits and ultimately become free from old age and death. And then he specifically said, one who's taken his birth as a human being in the land of India should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. So that's where we ended. Now this brings us to text 42. He says, this is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, it is the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others with his life, wealth, intelligence, and words. Report. There are two kinds of general activities, shreyas, or activities which are ultimately beneficial and auspicious, and prayas, or those which are immediately beneficial and auspicious. For example, children are fond of playing. They do not want to go to school to receive an education, and they think that to play all day and night and enjoy with their friends is the aim of life. Adults think the same, right? Even in the nowadays, so many irresponsible adults just want to enjoy themselves. Even in the transcendental life of Lord Krishna, we find that when he was a child, he was very fond of playing with his friends of the same age, the cowherd boys. He would not even go home to take his dinner. Mother Yashoda would have to come out to induce him to come home. Thus, it is a child's nature to engage all day and night in playing, not caring even for his health and other important concerns. This is an example of prayas, or immediately beneficial activities. But there are also shreyas, or activities which are ultimately auspicious. According to Vedic civilization, a human being must be God conscious. He should understand what God is, what this material world is, who he is, and what their interrelationships are. This is called shreyas, or ultimately auspicious activity. In this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that one should be interested in shreyas. To achieve the ultimate goal of shreyas, or good fortune, one should engage everything, including his life, wealth, and words, not only for himself, but for others also. However, unless one is interested in shreyas in his own life, he cannot preach of shreyas for the benefit of others. This verse cited by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu applies to human beings, not to animals. As indicated in the previous verse by the words Manushya Janma, these injunctions are for human beings. Unfortunately, human beings, although they have the bodies of men, are becoming less than animals in their behavior. This is the fault of modern education. Modern educators do not know the aim of human life. They are simply concerned with how to develop the economic condition of their countries or of human society. This is also necessary. The Vedic civilization considers all aspects of human life, including dharma, religion, artha, economic development, kama, sense gratification, and moksha, liberation. But humanity's first concern should be religion. To be religious, one must abide by the orders of God. But unfortunately, people in this age have rejected religion, and they are busy in economic development. Therefore, they will adopt any means to get money. For economic development, one does not need to get money by hook or by crook. One needs only sufficient money to maintain his body and soul. However, because modern economic development is going on with no religious background, people have become lusty, greedy, and mad after money. They are simply developing the qualities of rajas, passion, and tamas, ignorance, neglecting the other quality of nature, sattva, goodness, and the Brahminical qualifications. Therefore, the entire society is in chaos. The Bhagavatam says that it is the duty of an advanced human being to act in such a way as to facilitate human society's attainment of the ultimate goal of life. There is a similar verse in the Vishnu Purana, Part 3, Chapter 12, verse 45, which is next quoted in the Caitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada is very strong in this purport, right? It's very clear also that, we have different goals of life, right? Some are immediate, right? Like, I'm hungry, I need to get food. Right? Like Kritika, she's like, I'm hungry, I need food now. So sometimes it's like that we just need to get our immediate needs met. But if we're just spending our whole life just getting our immediate needs met, just racing around from one immediate need to another immediate need and not thinking of what is the ultimate need, then basically we're wasting our life. Or we're just living for sense gratification, which is what the animals do, right? Animals are just going around. You watch any squirrel, any bird, what are they doing? They're just finding food, finding a mate, defending themselves, So if that's all we're doing, then we haven't even come to the human platform of life. The purpose is basically to be a human being means to consider the shreyas, right? Our ultimate benefit. Who am I? Who is God? Where am I going? How can I improve myself? So these are all very important questions. And yeah, he's criticizing modern education because if you go to any university, they'll teach you, all this mundane subject matters so that you can get a job and get money for sense gratification. They just teach you how to get money. They don't there's no department that really teaches you like, who are you? Right? There may be a department of religion or religious studies or school of divinity or something, but even then it's like the emphasis or the approach to the study is academic, right? It's we just want to understand different perspectives on God or divinity. It's not about how do I, develop a loving relationship with God. What is the practice? How, what they don't give you like practical guidance for how to perfect your own life spiritually, or the support to do so, or the association to do so. It's all just kind of, it's amazing how they can take something like religion and just make it kind of mundane and academic, right? And unsatisfying. So, yeah, Prabhupada would always say, where is the department for the soul? Where is the department? This is the most important knowledge. It's transcendental knowledge. And they have so many different degrees, so many different departments, so many different buildings. Not a single classroom that's teaching you who you actually are. So that's what we need to do, at least for ourselves, right? We need to, like he says, that it's a duty in that verse, previous verse when he sang that one who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, or anyway, this day and age, thanks to Prabhupada, anywhere, because everywhere there are temples, everywhere there's access to Krishna consciousness. So anyone who's taken their birth as a human being anywhere in the world should work for the benefit of other people, but first they have to make their own life successful. So we have to practice bhakti, be very serious in our spiritual activities and everything, and then give that to others. Yeah.
Yeah, I was also thinking in the previous verse where we read that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so happy when we eat the fruit.
Mm. Yeah.
And if we do not eat if we do not have ourselves that fruit, how we will be distributing it? I was thinking that and the same.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, he says not just how many fruits can I distribute alone, but he says, how many can I eat? There's so many fruits and I'm eating them. I'm just one for how many, of course he can probably eat a lot, but he's Krishna. But he's saying, how many can I eat? In other words, I don't want to eat them alone. I want to eat them together with all of you. I want that we all eat these fruits. Everyone should be relishing these fruits. So he wants to share them. And then what happens is, like you said, yeah, that as soon as we taste it and we taste how amazing it is, then we want to share with others. So that's the thing. He wants to eat the fruits and eat them together with us. And then after we're eating, we're like, oh my God, that was amazing. Everyone has to taste this fruit. And then we go out and distribute.
And same pastime in here where Yashoda Mai is saying Krishna go and don't play or something. We read in this.
We just read
Today
like a
morning.
couple
Today
days
morning.
ago.
The morning Bhagavatam.
Today morning class.
Amazing. Synchronicity, right?
Yeah, today morning class.
Mhm. Okay, so let's
My
go on to
personal
text
life.
43. Praninam upakaraya yad eveha parachacha karmana manasa vacha tadeva matiman bhajet. Anybody?
Yes. By his work, thoughts, and words, an intelligent man must perform actions which will be beneficial for all living entities in this life and next. But unfortunately, people in general do not know what is to take place in the next life. To prepare oneself for his next life is a common sense and it is a principle of the Vedic civilization. But presently, people throughout the world do not believe in a next life. Even influential professors and other educators say that as soon as the body is finished, everything is finished. The atheistic philosophy is killing human civilization. People are irresponsibly performing all sorts of sinful activities, and thus the privilege of human life is being taken away by the educational propaganda of so called leaders. Actually, it is the fact that life is meant for preparation for the next life. By evolution, one has come through many species or forms And this human form of life is an opportunity to promote oneself to the better life. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Those who worship the demigods will take the birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ghosts and spirits will take the birth among such beings. Those who worship the ancestors will go to the ancestors. And those who worship me and will live with me. Therefore, one may promote one himself to the higher planetary systems, which are residents of the demigods. One can promote himself to Pitraloka, one can remain on earth, or one can also go back home, back to Godhead. This is further confirmed elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita. After giving up the body, one who knows the Krishna is truth does not come back to this world to accept the material body, but he goes back home, back to Godhead. This knowledge is in the Shastras, and the people should be given opportunity to understand it. Even one is not able to go back to Godhead in one life, the Vedic civilization at least gives one opportunity to be promoted to the higher planetary systems where the demigods live, not glide down again to the animal life. At present, people do not understand this knowledge, although it constitutes a great science, for they are uneducated and trained not to accept it. This is the horrible condition of the modern society. As such, the Krishna conscious movement is the only hope to direct attention of the intelligent man to the greater benefit in life.
The Prabhupada saying here that human form of life is such a great privilege. It's a great opportunity, and people who don't use the human life to try to understand God and realize themselves as spirit souls, then they're just living irresponsibly. So it's actually very irresponsible. Is that word here? He says, where is it? Yeah, he says that people are irresponsibly performing all sorts of sinful activities. Thus, the privilege of human life is being taken away. So, yeah, by getting the human life and then just using it for animal activities, then we're communicating, right, to the Lord that I'd rather be an animal. So then we end up being an animal again and back into the, all the different species, and who knows how many lifetimes and how many different species we'll have to go through before we get a chance to be a human again. So we have to make good use of this human form of life by following the scriptures. He's saying that we have the opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead, or failing that, at least we can get a higher birth. We don't perfect this birth. This knowledge is all in the Shastras, so we really need to take advantage of it. And then he makes this strong point. He says that, he says at present people do not understand this knowledge, for they are uneducated and trained not to accept it. So it's not only that people aren't taught about Krishna and the process of bhakti and how to connect with Krishna and revive their loving relationship with the Lord, which is the purpose of human life. Not only that they're not educated in that, but it's the opposite. They're trained not to believe it, not to believe in God. Like literally, I had this teacher when I was in high school. He was a earth science teacher. It was like theology and that kind of stuff. And he would literally he didn't teach us anything about geology, like from the actual textbook that we had to know. But what he would do in class was, not every day, but often, he would get these, those days we just had tape recorders and things like that. So he would play like a tape cassette recording of some religious person speaking. And then he would pause it in different places and he would say, how do you refute this? Like, what's wrong with this argument? He was literally training us to be atheists. And he was saying, you shouldn't just believe things that people say. You need to be skeptical, right? In order to be successful in this world, you have to not let people just tell you anything and just be superstitious and sentimental. You have to be skeptical and see whether these points make logical, scientific sense, like that. like, what is the proof, you know? And so like that. So he was literally like training us how to be atheists. And I was always like, this is so bogus. Even as a teenage kid, I was in high school, right? So I was just like, I was very uncomfortable with it because he was definitely biased. And then when I went to college, it was the same thing. Not that they like, you know, literally like, you know, taught us how to um, um, like disprove any religious arguments, but just the way everything was like slanted away from God, right? Like there was a class that I took that was called what's it called? Oh yeah, it was called this. It was called The Science of Evolution and the Creation Myth. That was the name. So it was like evolution is a science. Evolution is like the truth. Like we have evidence, we have proof, we have scientific methodologies to prove evolutions. And creation is just a mythology, which means it's just stories. It's just some like made up things by human beings who were very simple and just needed some explanations for natural phenomena, and so they invented them their own. So basically, that was the class. And then the other thing is, I took a class in ecology, and they were like blaming religion for all the destruction of the earth's resources. They were like, yeah, because in the Bible it says that God gave man dominion over the earth. Then people who are Christians and follow the Bible, they take that as a license to just basically exploit the earth. Like this is God's gift to us to use as we like. And then I wrote a whole paper on it, arguing that that's not necessarily what dominion means, right? Like parents have dominion over their children, but they don't, you know, kill them and eat them. They don't like, you know, good parents are not going to abuse them or, you know, just whatever, use them for their sense gratification in some weird ways. And they're not going to pollute them or destroy them. So dominion can also mean that you are like a steward, that you take care, you know. So dominion just means that you have the power to use something that's kind of inferior to you, but you can also use that power to uplift, to support, to care for, to nourish, to improve, right? So the dominion doesn't necessarily imply like it's not necessarily like a license for destruction. So anyways, and then if you take it out of context, then you see like what else it says in the Bible about how God says we should interact with other people and that, you know, we should love thy neighbor as thyself and understand that this is God's creation. He gave us a beautiful creation and we should use it in his service. So yeah, that was just sad. It's just sad how, you know, in academic, as soon as you become, you know, old enough to start thinking, they start programming you to disbelieve in God. Yeah. Yes, Kritika?
Oh, I was just thinking, like, do you think it is because of like, due to like wrong people, because like your teacher, they had like their interpretation, like their own interpretation of Bible, like nobody explained to them the right thing, or like it's mainly because of like those kind of people who went into religion but they themselves had no idea and then they propagated the wrong things. That's why like people got like the wrong message. It's like, and then
Yeah.
like they never got a right person to explain to them.
Right.
And then they thought like, oh, this is how it is, that's why it doesn't work. But yeah, so that's how they become atheists. Like,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
you get some like
someone like
kind
Prabhupada.
of demonic person
Yeah.
who's preaching religion,
Mhm.
then they're going to preach it in, you know, they're going to use religion as a justification for
True.
their sense gratification.
Yeah.
And then it just makes everything horrible.
Yeah.
Right? Like people like nowadays there are Christians who interpret the Bible that thou shalt not kill means thou shalt not murder humans only. But we can kill any other living being, you know, that's fine. So that's an
That's their
interpretation.
version.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is such a big sin if you are doing that. I just
Yeah, actually in the Ishopanishad it says that worse than somebody who's just an out and out atheist is someone who presents themselves as religious and misleads people.
Yeah, that's like the biggest thing I guess because you're like actually like killing the mind of the people, not only the mind, killing the soul. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the worst thing. He says that that person, even if they do, better to be a total atheist and be totally ignorant. That person's going to suffer in the next life. But the person who believes in God and then uses God for their own agenda, their own like materialistic purposes, that person goes to a darker hell. That's what it says.
There are so many people in India.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's why Prabhupada got so upset. Like he's always talking about these, he calls them mundane wranglers who get the Bhagavad Gita and interpret it in certain ways for their political agenda or their impersonalist philosophy or something. And they just totally twist Krishna's message of the Bhagavad Gita. So
Yeah, we see a lot in India.
yeah. Thank God for Srila Prabhupada that we got a genuine article. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, back to Lord Chaitanya, text 44. Mali Manushya Amara Nahi Raja Dhana Pala Pula Diya Kari Punya Uparjana.
I am merely a gardener. Either a king of he has values that I used to utilize, let's say, briefly in my life. Srila Prabhupada's purpose. In performing welfare activities for human society, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presents himself as being not very rich, thus indicating that a man need not to be rich or opulent to act for the welfare of humanity. Sometimes rich people are very proud that they can perform beneficial activities for human society, whereas others cannot. A practical example is that when there is a scarcity of food in India and on account of meager rainfall, some members of the richer class very proudly distribute foodstuff, making huge arrangements with the help of the government, as if merely by such activities people will be benefited. Suppose there were no food grain, how would the rich man distribute food? Production of grain is completely in the hands of God. If there were no rain, there would be no grain, and this so-called rich man would be unable to distribute grain to the people. The real purpose of life, therefore, is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Rupa Goswami describes in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that devotional service is so exalted that it is beneficial and auspicious for every man. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also declared that to propagate the bhakti cult of devotional service in human society, one does not need to be very rich. Anyone who knows the art can do it and thus render the highest benefit to the humanity. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes the part of the gardener because although a gardener is naturally not a very rich man, he has some fruits and flowers. Any man can collect some fruits and flowers and satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotional service. As the Lord recommends in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9:26. Patram pushpam phulam toyam yome bhaktyam prayachati tadaham bhakti
Utam Ashnami Prayatatmanaha.
One cannot satisfy the Supreme Lord by his riches, wealth, or opulent position, but anyone can collect a little fruit or a flower and offer it to the Lord. The Lord says that if one brings such an offering in devotion, he will accept it and feed it. When Krishna eats, the entire world becomes satisfied. There is a story in the Mahabharata illustrating how by Krishna's eating, the 60,000 disciples of Durvasa Muni were all satisfied. Therefore, it is a fact that if by our life, pranay, by our wealth, arthai, by our intelligence, dhiya, or by our words, vacha, we can satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Naturally, the entire world will become happy. Therefore, our main duty is to satisfy the Supreme Godhead by our action, our money, and words. This is very simple. Even if one does not have money, he can preach the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to everyone. One can go everywhere to every home and request everyone to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Thus, the entire world situation will become very happy and peaceful.
Jai. Go to every home, every university, every Indian store, every Nepali temple. Every Walmart. Every Trader Joe's. Request everyone to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is really nice because this section is all about giving, right? It's about giving Krishna consciousness, giving the holy name, giving the fruits of love of God. And he's saying, you don't have to be a rich person. Anyways, rich people, they make a big show of giving, some material things to people, but where do they get their things from? God. So the point is that we need to please God. And the best thing to give people is Krishna consciousness. And you don't need to have a lot of wealth to do that. So it's easy. And then he says that, that when Krishna eats, everybody's happy. So when we offer nice things to Krishna, then we become satisfied in our lives. So that's the main duty. That's basically the trick. That's the secret, right? To a life of fulfillment is to satisfy the Supreme Lord by our actions, our money, or our words. He says that's very simple, what he can do.
Such a strong point, and if you satisfy Krishna, whole world is satisfied.
Yeah, I never actually thought about that before, like that pastime with Devasa Muni going to visit the Pandavas, and Draupadi had already eaten, so they did. And then Krishna just took a little piece of vegetable stuck on the side of the pot, ate it, and everybody was full. So if we just offer a little tiny little thing, little morsel to Krishna, then we become so satisfied. The world becomes satisfied. Not just the Pandavas, not just those who offered it, but even all the 10,000 disciples of Durvasa Muni all became satisfied. Totally full. So by satisfying Krishna, then the world becomes satisfied. And then when the world becomes satisfied, then less lust, less greed, less envy, then the world can actually become a nice place. Yeah. Text 45. Anna vriksha hailan eta ichate sarva pranaya upakara haya vriksha haite.
Although I'm acting as a gardener, I also want to be the tree, for thus I can bestow benefit upon all. Good. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most benevolent personality in human society because his only desire is to make people happy. His Sankirtan movement is specially meant for the purpose of making people happy. He wanted to become the tree himself because the tree is said to be the most benevolent living entity. And the following verse, which is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:22-33, Krishna himself highly praises the existence of a tree.
I was thinking, Lord Chaitanya is so enthusiastic, right? Because he wants to do everything. He's like, I'm the gardener, and I also want to be the tree, and I also want to distribute, and I also want to eat them, and I want you to eat them too. And so he's the most benevolent personality, right? Namo Mahavadanyaya. So devotees are like that. I was thinking of Arjuna, Arjuna out there. Like we had our Gaur Purnima festival, and Arjuna's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna cook the veggie burgers, I'm gonna make the buns, I'm gonna do the shopping, I'm gonna have a band, I'm gonna get the band together, I'm gonna play guitar, we're gonna do amazing kirtan. Like the enthusiasm of the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that they want to do everything. But our problem is that we are limited. Unfortunately, we're not God, we're tiny, tiny little parts and parcels, so we can only do something. But anyways, the Lord sees our the Lord sees our intention, he sees our effort. He says that in this endeavor, there's no loss or diminution. He doesn't say that in the success, there's no loss. He says in the endeavor. Our success is that we tried. We tried with a good intention to please the Lord, please the devotees, make everyone. So we just need to keep trying. Yeah, it's so nice. It says, Lord Chaitanya's only desire is to make people happy. The Sankirtan movement is just meant for this purpose of making people happy. So for making people happy, Lord Chaitanya is like, I want to be the tree, I want to be the gardener, I want to. Text 46. Aho esham varam janma sarva pranyupajivinam sujanasyeva yesham vai vimukayanti nartina.
Just see how these trees are maintaining every living entity. Their birth is successful, their behavior is just like that of great personalities. For anyone who asks anything from a tree never goes away disappointed. Purport. According to Vedic civilization, Kshatriyas are considered to be great personalities because if anyone goes to a Kshatriya king to ask for charity, the king will never refuse. The trees are compared to those noble Kshatriyas before because everyone derives all kinds of benefit from them. Some people take fruit, others take flowers, others take leaves, others take twigs, and others even cut the tree, and yet the tree gives to everyone without hesitation. Unnecessarily cutting trees without consideration is another example of human debauchery. The paper industry cuts many hundreds and thousands of trees for its meals, and with the paper, so much rubbish literature is published for the whimsical satisfaction of human society.
Poor trees, they have to give their lives to printing this nonsense, like pornography magazines and bogus newspapers and mundane literature, advertisements.
Unfortunately, although these industrialists are now happy in this life by dint of their industrial development, they do not know that they will incur the responsibility of for killing these living entities who are in the form of trees. This verse quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Lord Krishna to his friends when he was taking rest underneath a tree after his pastime of stealing the clothes of the gopis, Vastraharan Leela. By quoting this verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us that we should be tolerant like trees and also beneficial like trees, which give everything to the needy persons who come underneath them. A needy person may derive many advantages from trees and also from many animals, but in modern civilization, people have become so ungrateful that they exploit the trees and animals and kill them. These are some of the simple activities of modern civilization.
Yeah, so to speak of killing the animals for sense gratification, even killing trees for sense gratification is a sinful act for which they will have to suffer. So yeah, we have to be careful to not waste paper, not misuse paper, because a tree gave its life for that piece of paper. And yeah, anything paper or wood. So yeah, Krishna is quoting this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna is glorifying the trees. So trees are great, show many great qualities, right? On Sunday we're reflecting on the verse Trunadapi Sunichena Taror Api Sahishnuna. So Taror Api Sahishnuna, that we should be tolerant like the tree. And when Lord Chaitanya explains the verse in the last chapter of Caitanya Caritamrita, Adi-lila chapter 20, he talks about how the trees, not only are they tolerant, but while tolerating a lot of suffering, they keep giving. Right? Even while they're standing there in the scorching heat, the blazing sun of the summer, they're giving shade to others. Even while like some bird or animal is, when some bird is like pecking into its bark and breaking it and piercing its outer layers of bark, and the tree goes on providing fruits for the bird. So they're very selfless, right? Even to those who are harming, even to the man who comes and chops the tree down, the tree gives firewood to heat the house, to roast their marshmallows on. So the trees are they're so tolerant, and not just tolerating, but also giving to the very people or living entities who they need to tolerate. So that's hard, right? Like if somebody's nice to you, somebody's benefiting you in some way, then you feel like giving back, right? You feel like reciprocating. But if somebody's just always taking from you, just always annoying you and hurting you, then you don't feel like being generous with that person, right? You want to keep a distance. You're like, I'm not giving them anything. All they do is give me trouble. For us, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like we turn our back on Krishna, we disobey him. People deny his existence. They say bad things about him. They write books trying to convince others to not believe in him. And then Krishna just keeps giving sunshine and fresh air and beautiful moonlight, and you know, a world full of food.
They destroy his own creation.
Yeah, they destroy and Mother Earth also, if you think about it, like they destroy the earth and yet Earth keeps giving food. They pollute the water and yet the rain keeps falling, providing fresh water all the time.
I think trees with the set in the end of our life. It actually died. The fire.
Yeah, even the cremation fire, right?
Fire.
From the time we're born to the time we die, we're getting so many benefits from trees.
There's a bhajan with the tree from the time we are born and time.
Oh yeah, there's a
Yeah.
song.
Like the wooden thing where we place babies.
Oh, the cradle.
Yeah, the cradle is of wood, and it's the bhajan starts from this and then ends at
The funeral pyre.
Funeral
Oh, that's
pyre.
really cool. And even like reading Caitanya Charitamrita, we wouldn't be able to do without trees.
tree.
Come to my mind, should I say?
Go ahead.
Might be beneficial. I'm just thinking like people don't even like leave God like to criticize or to like comment on him. And I'm just thinking like we rely on such people and their opinion and like we give them our key that okay you can make me happy and sad. That is so ridiculous. Like they don't even leave God, so like who am I? They're anyways gonna be like judging you, criticizing you. So I don't know. I was just thinking like people even talk bad things about God.
Right.
So like why do we
So,
bother?
yeah, if they say something bad about us, then I mean, if
They
they,
do.
if they criticize like someone who is perfect, infallible, omniscient, all powerful, then I mean, yeah.
What about me?
What about me? What are they gonna say about me?
All accepted.
Then they do say whatever you want.
Don't be surprised
It's
if they
right.
criticize you. Okay.
I was
Good,
thinking
yeah.
in practical life, like how much tolerance we should have, like in this life, if we are like trees, people are gonna exploit or take advantage or like what is the boundary of
Being a tree.
being a tree?
Yeah, right. We should have some boundaries, right? The thing is, it's about the tree's always giving, right? So what do we give? We have to give Krishna consciousness. So as long as we're giving Krishna consciousness, then even if people are taking from us and not giving back, but if we're giving them Krishna consciousness, then Krishna is going to be giving so much. So the thing is that we just don't expect reciprocation from those people, right? We're expecting reciprocation from Krishna. We're not expecting that my happiness doesn't depend on that person, right? Like I can be kind to them, I can be merciful to them, and they can say whatever they want. That's their problem, right? It's not my problem because my happiness doesn't come from that person, it comes from Krishna. And so giving to them, giving them prasadam, giving them books, giving them holy name, trying to give them my friendship to encourage them to, warm up to Krishna consciousness. That's I'm doing that for them, but I'm ultimately doing that for Krishna. Okay, so how they receive it doesn't matter because Krishna is appreciating. So if they don't appreciate me, it doesn't matter if they appreciate me because Krishna is appreciating. And he's reciprocating with me. And he's, whatever I need is coming from him, not them. Okay? So then in one sense, we don't have to. I mean, if somebody's like, really physically abusive or horrible, then, and also we recommend that we should avoid envious people. They're very antagonistic, then we can avoid them, but we shouldn't stop giving to others, right? Just because we met one bad person, I'm never going to go out again because that person said something back to me and I'm feeling sad and that's it. We still need to go out the next day and give to other people. Try to find the nice people.
Try to find a nice other tree.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. Let's go to text 1. What are we? 47? 47. Yagya Kaila Yadi Caitanya Malakara Parama Ananda Paila Vriksha Parivara. You want to read Parishi? Or are you busy? You don't have. No, it's okay. We can skip you. We got people out here in the cyberspace. Hannah, do you want to read?
Yes, Prabhupada Priya. Okay. The descendants of the tree, the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, were very glad to receive this order directly from the Lord. Srila Prabhupada's purport is it is the desire. Should I read?
Yeah, go ahead. We're just laughing because you know that boy Vrindavan Nathvar, he started saying Srila Prabhupada's purport, and then we all started saying it. Now you're saying it too.
Well, because the other day I said purport, and then
What's
you
that?
said the other day I said purport, and then you said Srila Prabhupada's purport. So I was like, let me follow Prabhupada Priya's example, but I didn't know you were following in Vrindavan Nathavar's footsteps.
Well, he gets it from Vaisheshika Prabhu, so we're actually following Vaisheshika Prabhu, which is a worthy thing to do.
Okay, Chai.
No offense to Vrindavan Nathvar.
Chai.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, it is the desire of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that the benevolent activities of the Sankirtan movement, which was inaugurated 500 years ago in Navadvip, be spread all over the world for the benefit of all human beings. Unfortunately, there are many so-called followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who are satisfied simply to construct a temple, make a show of the deities, collect some funds, and utilize them for eating and sleeping. There is no question of their preaching the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. But even though they are unable to do so, if anyone else does it, they become envious. This is the condition of the modern followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The age the age of Kali is so strong that it affects even the so-called followers of Lord Chaitanya. At least the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must come out of India to preach his cult all over the world, for this is the mission of Lord Chaitanya. The followers of Lord Chaitanya must execute his will with their heart and soul and be more tolerant than the trees and humbler than the straw in the street.
Prabhupada's talking about himself and his god brothers here, right? That the god brothers, they didn't want to go and preach. They just want to stay in their temples and, collect donations and, open the curtain when someone gives a donation. Or there's like some temples you go to, now they're better, but there used to be some temples they have, you find out from devotees that they have some special Sheila or some special darshan that you can get. Like there's generally open the curtains, you can see the deities, but there is some special little thing, that they're not showing. And then you have to ask him, like, oh, I want darshan of this special thing. And then he's like, you have to give the money, give 500 rupees, and then he brings out the special thing that you want to see, whatever it is. So they still do that. So yeah, they're basically, constructing temple, making a show of the deities, collecting some funds for their eating and sleeping, not preaching. And then Prabhupada, he's actually preaching all over the world and spreading Krishna consciousness. And then those god brothers that are not preaching, they become envious of him and criticize him. So Prabhupada had to deal with all that. Even from his own god brothers who were in the Gaudiya Math, who are Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So Prabhupada is saying, Lord, to be a follower of Lord Chaitanya means get out and preach. Come out of India, preach Lord Chaitanya's message and the lifestyle of Krishna consciousness all over the world. This is his mission. And we should all make it our heart and soul. So when Lord Chaitanya was speaking, he was speaking to all these branches and sub-branches, or in other words, his disciples, so forth. He says that these descendants of the tree, I like how they put it, the descendants of the tree, in other words, the devotees of Chaitanya, they were very glad to receive this order from the Lord. They became very enlivened. Although Chaitanya is telling us, go out and give the fruits to everyone. We got a mission now. It's exciting. We're enlivened. So we should all be enlivened like that. Like Aruna, she's going out boldly on her own, all over and giving the fruits. She goes with a box full of fruits. 648. Ye yahanta handana kare prema pala. Pala svare mataloka haila sakala. Do you want to read Arjuna?
Yes. The fruit of love of God is so delicious that wherever a devotee distributes it, those who relish the fruit anywhere in the world immediately become intoxicated.
Uh,
Jai. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Here the wonderful fruit of love of Godhead distributed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is described. We have practical experience that anyone who accepts this fruit and sincerely tastes it immediately becomes mad after it and gives up all his bad habits. Being intoxicated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's gift, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The statements of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita are so practical that anyone can test them. As far as we are concerned, we are most confident of the success of the distribution of the great fruit of love of Godhead through the medium of chanting the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, I'm getting intoxicated just hearing this purport. So nice, right? Yeah, wonderful fruit of love of God. Whoever tastes it immediately becomes mad after it. And gives up all bad habits. Yeah, that's what happens, right? As soon as we come to Krishna consciousness, very quickly, just give up all the bad habits. You just stop drinking and smoking and going out clubbing, and you ditch your boyfriend or girlfriend, or marry them. And you stop watching all kinds of trash movies and reading trash books, and you stop exploiting people and seeing people as their bodies and labeling them and stuff. So, yeah, this is all very wonderful. This is the great gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the main thing is chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Yeah, he says, he says that we are most confident of the success of the distribution of the great fruit of love of Godhead through the medium of chanting the Maha Mantra. So this is like the medium. The Maha Mantra he's saying is the medium through which this fruit of love of God is distributed. So when we teach people how to chant, we do kirtan and get people to chant, we do japa and get people to chant, then that is the medium. That's like the pipeline through which love of God comes to the person. So this chanting is, you can think about that whenever we're chanting in kirtan or chanting japa or chanting anything. This is the medium through which love of God is flowing. It's coming to me and it's going to others. Very powerful. Okay, 49. Oh, Pragati has a question.
No.
Comment.
It reminded me of the first time when I heard of in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the description of Nityananda Prabhu, like mad, intoxicated,
Yeah.
with the elephant. So it reminded me of the same thing.
Oh,
They
yeah.
are intoxicated.
Yeah, and we're going to hear a lot more of that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Everyone getting intoxicated. And also about Lord Chaitanya, right? When he first got initiated and he was like being too ecstatic. I mean, very extremely ecstatic and intoxicated. And then he went back to his guru. He's like, I don't know what happened. I'm chanting this mantra you gave me and I'm becoming mad. I'm like concerned. Everyone's worried about my mental health. And then he says, no, this is the desired result of chanting this mantra. You're supposed to go mad with love of God. Yeah. Maha Madhika Prema Pala Peta Parikaya Matila Sakala Loka Hase Nache Gaya. Sneha? You there, little Sneha?
Yeah. I'm here for music.
We were waiting for that. Go ahead.
The fruit of love of Godhead, distributed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is such a great intoxicant that anyone who eats it, filling its belly, immediately becomes maddened by it and automatically chants, dances, and laughs and enjoys.
Haribo. So this is the only thing. When we take initiation vows, no intoxication. Except this is the exception. We can take this intoxicant. And the intoxicant is love of the fruit of love of Godhead. And when you take it, you become mad. Chant, dance, laugh, and enjoy. Right? That's why everybody wants to get intoxicated, is to chant, dance, sing, dance, laugh, and enjoy themselves. So this is the best intoxicant. What is the word here? Oh, Mahamadika. Text 50. Keha gada gadiyaya keha tahunkara deki anandita hana hase malakara. You want to read, Divya?
Sure, I would love to. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great gardener, sees that people are chanting, dancing, and laughing, and that some of them are rolling on the floor and some are making loud humming sounds, he smiles with great pleasure. Srila Prabhupada's purport. This attitude of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very important for persons engaged in the Hare Krishna movement of Krishna consciousness. In every center of our institution, ISKCON, we have arranged for a love feast every Sunday. And when we actually see people come to our center, chant, dance, take prasadam, become jubilant, and purchase books, we know that certainly Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always present in such transcendental activities, and he is very pleased and satisfied. Therefore, the members of ISKCON must increase this movement more and more according to the principles that we are presently trying to execute. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, thus being pleased, will smilingly glance upon them, bestowing his favor, and the movement will be successful.
Like that little, you know, on WhatsApp, you write ROTR, what is it? ROTFL, rolling on the floor laughing. So this is the effect. Yeah, before there were emojis, they would say, like, they would put these like abbreviations in. So rolling on the floor laughing, that's what happens when you and like making loud humming sounds, smiling. So Lord Chaitanya, when he sees that people are chanting, dancing, laughing, rolling on the floor, making loud humming noises like then he becomes very happy. And Lord Prabhupada is saying in his purport something very wonderful here. He's saying that when we arrange programs, right, like the Sunday Feast program at the temple or something like Bhakti Circle, where we invite people to come and people chant and dance and laugh and dance, and then he says that Lord Chaitanya, he says we should know that certainly Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always present in such transcendental activities. That means Lord Chaitanya is coming to Bhakti Circle. Lord Chaitanya is at the Sunday Feast program there when everybody's singing and dancing, laughing, and taking prasadam. So, yeah, so Prabhupada says that we need to keep organizing these programs, keep inviting people, getting them to chant, dance, take prasadam, become jubilant, and purchase books, and know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is present. And that he's not just present, but he's pleased, and being pleased, he's going to smilingly glance upon us. And he's going to bestow his transcendental favor on us, and our lives are going to be successful, and the Hare Krishna movement is going to be successful. So before he was emphasizing like going out, right? Going out. And so we go out, but we also invite people in, and we need to have the programs also going on here. So these programs are very important. Sunday Love Feast, Bhakti Circle, all these different programs. The programs that devotees do at UTD and things where they do kirtan and prasadam, and they read something and get everyone to dance. So this is all very wonderful. We can invoke the presence and the mercy and blessings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by doing all these things. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Sri Krishna Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanandi.
Prabhupada Priya ki jai.
Divya, happy Gaur Purnima to you. Don't stay up all night.
Happy Gaur Purnima.
Hare Krishna.